Good morning, everybody. Steve Georgie here, live from Allendale's trading floor. It is September 23rd, bringing you the morning coffee. Corn was down overnight. Let me say it again. Corn was down overnight. After having sessions of, higher and higher funds coming in and buying, the overnight session, I was kind of surprised, was able to push down below that $5 area. We were down about 7 to 8 cents for corn. You had beans a little bit lower, down about 2 to 3 cents in beans. The wheat market working about 11 to 12 lower. So, as I mentioned, we did find some pressure overnight. We did have pretty good volume overnight as well. But as of this morning, we did have export sales come out. You were looking for about 550,000 to 800,000 tons. USDA came out with 561. So within the range, toward the lower end of the range. But we're going to call the export sales neutral today. We've got the chart pattern right now has been working itself a little lower. We do have some support just below us here. But if the funds are going to end up pushing this thing down, we still could see almost down to 450 in that nearby contract and still be in an uptrend. So keep that in mind here, but it does seem like we could start off a little bit weaker here this morning. As far as beans, we were lower overnight. Looking for the estimates there for the exports came out at 450 to 650. It came out at 1.08 million. So that is friendly for soybeans. So we're looking for that to maybe keep beans up a little here today, at least off the start. But there too, technically we had a breakout on Friday up above 1060. We have been in a range. We've had a high end up near 11 for that November contract, with the low end so far down into that 1080 area. But we'll see how today's working out. I think if we see corn and wheat lower, we may see some pressure here today as far as the beans. In the wheat, they were looking for 400 to 700 as far as exports. They got 460. Still neutral in the wheat. But when you look at it in a bigger picture, they did have net cancellations. For whatever reason, the last few weeks, we had seen guys locking in and trying to buy out 2 to 3 years. But they did cancel those today, which ended up adjusting export sales down to 460. So still neutral in the wheat. We're going to look for that to basically have no difference in the market here this morning. We did have confirmation that Egypt buys 220 tons of wheat from U.S. wheat. So showing that there is still demand there. But I think the charts, if you look at what happened yesterday, we did take out some support in the charts yesterday. And here today, overnight, things are lower. So we'll see if that does continue here this morning. The attitude is negative for the grains right off the bat. Looking at some of these outside markets, you've got the dollar right now. That is up. You're up about 14 cents. Still a very negative chart pattern right now for the dollar. We are up about 14, bringing you back above 80. We sit right now at 80.20 for the December contract. We did push down to 79.90 overnight. That is going to be support. So look for that to continue to be support. But if we end up moving back down below that, or we see the dollar go lower today, it should continue its downtrend from here. Looking at crude oil. Crude, every rally we've seen in crude over the last few weeks has been met with selling. Here again today, down 82 cents, pushing us below $74 a barrel. We sit at 73.90 right now on crude. The technical pattern there is still lower. If you look at a longer-term chart, we mentioned this in our weekly meeting that we have on Monday. And if you've not seen our weekly meeting, you have the opportunity to see that. Give us a call over here and we'll show you where to get that. But in our weekly meeting, Brian Splitt did a great job showing that we still are in this wedge formation longer term for the crude, but right now we're toward the lower end of that wedge. We break down below 70 here, you're probably going to find further selling as far as crude oil. Metal markets are unchanged right now. Kind of a little bit confused looking at the dollar up a little bit, finding some of these other markets that are lower. I wouldn't be surprised to see the metals maybe take some profits today, along with everything else if we're going to stay in the red. But we've seen a heck of a run for gold and silver, and I wouldn't be surprised maybe to see a little bit of a pullback from here, just some profit taking. The trend is still up, and I think it's going to remain that way. But as of right now, be careful of that profit taking. Soft markets are a little lower here today as well. We've found a significant run in cotton, in sugar, in coffee, in a lot of these markets. And here today we are finding a little bit of a pullback as far as the soft markets as well. Looking at the hogs are trading a little higher right now. You've got that 45 to 50 cents higher, looking pretty decent. We'll see if that's going to continue here today. You had pork cutout values that were down about 45 cents, but you look at the cash right now, cash has stayed pretty strong. Seasonally, we see a break right now in the cash market for the hogs. We have not seen that yet. You still have that sitting up in that 83 area, 83 to 84, with October futures trading down below 80. So we might find a little strength in the nearby contracts if we don't see that cash market break. As far as the hogs, we're trading 10 to 15 cents higher right now. Funds are long in the cattle. Now be careful. We've seen technical pullback here in the cattle. We're testing an uptrend right now. If we see the funds turn to sellers, this market can find a very quick drop. It can be very brief. So keep that in mind. But the funds are extremely long. Just like they are in any other market right now, if we're going to see liquidation, it's going to be fast. But right now, we should find a little bit of support on a little bit lower levels, but they are trading a little bit higher at this point. You had cutout values with Choice that was up about 38. Select that was down $1.02. So looking at cash cattle trade this week, we did have they traded as high as 98.50 in the south. So I think keep an eye on that as well. That should keep a little support on this market right now. But technically, it does look weak, and watch those support areas. If we break down below that support, we could see some liquidation out of this and see some funds kind of run from this market. But give us a call over here this morning, 800-262-7538. Once again, our address there on the web, allendale-inc.com. Give us a call. We've got a lot of information that we can get out to you. I know you guys are going to be busy out there on the tractors and whatnot, so make sure that you stay in contact with us just as we would like to stay in contact with you. So the number, once again, 800-262-7538. Have a great day today. Have a great rest of the week. Take care.